We're on.
Cool. So I was actually, under the radar. This was part of my audition for being a Muscle Nation ambassador.
That's it,
right?
mate.
So I got the shorts, I've got the shirt on, and I've actually got the kit here, boys. What do you reckon? Can I get a contract?
You have to talk to the athlete manager.
Pass you on to the athlete manager. Like, let her deal with you.
Maybe 10 years ago.
Yeah, old Dane, exactly. But no, look, I wanted to thank you two boys. Honestly, like, very grateful. I know you guys don't do this often. Jacob was saying, to his knowledge, that you guys have never actually done this before, maybe once.
I've done one as like a personal favour.
Yeah.
And that's it.
Okay. Pleased me to be the official first.
You're the official first podcast that we've done
together. Yeah. And we do get, like, I guess, in the industry, people know Muscle Nation. Yeah. And, Nathan and I have been on this journey for a little bit together. And we get requests, people asking us or DMing us to catch up. And personally, for me, and I know this has come together because of the collaboration with Clean Health, I just, when you just don't feel you haven't got enough value to give, the journey just started. You feel like you're at the startup stage. That's how I feel. I feel like we're still just getting started. Who would want to listen to our journey? But I guess there's a lot there to unpack if you really dive into where it all started in 2016 to where it is now, from activewear to supplements, to kind of expanding to grocer to service stations. Like, there's a lot to unpack. But
I think it still feels like
we're still getting just like
it's that imposter syndrome, right?
Yeah.
We all have it. It doesn't really matter where level you're at. It's like thinking, okay, am I good enough? Do I have value to give? But let's actually touch base on this amazing Bunnings table. I think this is actually a good contrast for you guys, and I'll tell you why. Because obviously first thing I noticed actually when I drove down the street was like, fuck, look at this building. Like, fucking slick, brand new, branding. I'm like, fuck, these guys are killing it. And then obviously we come in here, everything's nicely fit out and it's all polished and whatnot. But then amongst all the polish, we've got some raw. And I think it speaks actually to the authenticity of you guys, but then also your brand. So tell me about the Bunnings table, because that was something that you guys mentioned just before.
Well, when we got together and started the business, actually, like, you saw yourself funded. Like, you just have cents and pennies, as I say, to to invest in your business. And honestly, our working desk was a Bunnings table with a tablecloth. Remember the white one? It was like a bed sheet thrown over with the Max. And I guess for us, it started with a Bunnings table with a vision. And then, our warehouse was Nathan's, your mum's house and your grandma's house.
Yeah, my
the
grandma's
garage.
Yeah, with those Bunnings $100 racks that you put together.
Yeah.
So I feel like, from the warehouse to the computer desk, it was all Bunnings. And that's why we wanted the Bunnings table here in this interview.
Bunnings or anything that didn't cost us anything. So family garages.
But you can see where the money and the investment had to be put in certain areas. So therefore, we didn't want a desk. We'd work on our laps on a laptop. 100%. Like, that money had to go somewhere else. And that was the vision. I feel our vision was so honed in what we wanted to do. And that's where the money got invested from early stages.
One thing I've noticed just from being around you guys, even just today, right? It's obviously the first time we've caught up in person.
Yep.
Like, I've been around a lot of entrepreneurs, and I think it's quite rare to find two people that clearly work well and synergize well together. Like, obviously meeting you both, I can see the strengths in, for example, yourself, and then strengths over there with you, and then how they blend each other out. How did you guys come together?
I think that's a very good point. I'll just quickly touch on the partnership side of things.
Yeah.
Like, if you have two people that are identical and that have the same vision, it's not going to work. Like, we complement each other so well. Like, he has his strengths, I have my strengths, but at the end of the day, we have the same goal and vision of the company, and we always kind of back and forth, find the solution, and we get to the result we want because we come from two different sides a lot of the time. And I think that's why we work so well together. But how we met, did we meet at we met at the Fitness Expo, but we were online, we were talking for months because we were working together online.
Yeah.
But we met officially at a Fitness Expo. We're both of Greek background, so we kind of hit it off a bit there. Became good friends.
Yeah.
Which I think a lot of good businesses and partnerships start from being good friends.
100%.
I don't think I'd ever go into business with someone that I'm not seeing as someone that I'd be a friend with, or someone that, is like
I call it the barbecue test.
Yeah. Like, if I wouldn't...
Would I have them over for a barbecue? Like, it's pretty simple.
100%. I feel like it just made sense, and we just kind of never looked back after that.
Yeah, I'm pretty grateful to be doing this with my best mate. Like, Nathan is the godfather to my child as well.
Awesome.
We're very close. And I think that's what you need, because when the times are good, it's great. But when the times are tough a little bit, that's when, your bonding closeness kind of makes you kind of dig in. Like what you said before, you just kind of hone in and get to work. And I feel like, with whatever we do, we've got each other's backs. And like Nate said, we have both different strengths, but along the journey, he's taught me a lot about his world. And I feel like I've taught him a lot about my world. And we're like very
yin and yang,
very, very united with what we do. And,
yin and yang.
And it's like, we have people that ask us sometimes that their partnerships have fallen apart and they've gone their own way. You know who it is. That they say like how do you and Nathan work well together?
That was what I was going to ask, because I know like in my business, a lot of people at Clean Health see me, Daine, founder, blah, blah, blah. They don't realise, like in my case, I'm partnered with my wife, and she's the executor, the operator of my crazy ass fucking visions and plans for the industry, right?
That would be even harder than this, because you got to take it home.
Yeah, and look, there are with the rest, right? There are layers of it, right? But I would say, like, what would you guys, like recommendations to people that are kind of looking for a partner in business, starting out, or even if they're in a partnership they feel is not working well, like, maybe I'll start with you, Nate, and then come to you. Like, what would you say, like, kind of one or two key things that are important to you in a partnership with someone in business?
I think the person obviously has the same vision as you for the company, but I think like just morals in general as a person are a big thing, because like Chris said, when things go get tough, if you're a good person, you got good morals, you can work it out always, and then things can improve and get better and whatnot. But if you're with someone that's maybe an egotistic, a narcissist, or whatever you want to call it, like, it's not going to work no matter what. And I think that's happened in a lot of businesses that we've seen in the past, where partnerships just don't work because of the egos and the that kind of thing.
But also the vision, like the vision kind of starts changing for both.
Yeah.
And I feel like that's what, again, back to the first question about how do we come together with Muscle Nation. It came together because I was working in another business for a long time where social media started. I was very grateful to be working in that organization because it taught me a lot. I taught it a lot. And I feel like it came to a stage of me being there for 4 or 5 years that my vision and my vision for this business and where I thought it should go was different to the owner.
Yeah.
And that's when I feel like, okay, you start going at crossroads, like what Nathan said. Once you start kind of like having a few arguments and like, it goes from this to like this, and you split apart. You start realizing, okay, I can sit here with a good pay packet, and be happy with what I'm making, or is this brand me? Like I'm the marketing manager. Like, is this brand me? And it wasn't, and I felt like I wasn't doing justice to myself and what I had the vision for the future of social media, marketing, and branding for the brand and what they should be doing with their products, etc. And I just had the opportunity to come together with Nathan because we were friends and we got along. That okay, I want to go and like just live my vision, live my life, and bring this idea of social media and branding, what a product and they should market it, and where the focus should go into Muscle Nation, and that was my new vehicle with Nathan. And I feel like I went on that journey, and the goal was always, honestly, like Nathan knows back in the day, that we didn't take a wage for ages, where it was all I cared about is making the same wage I was making back at my old job, and if I did that, I was living my passion. That was actually the goal for Muscle Nation. It wasn't for it to become this juggernaut or this business and what we have now, but over time that vision changes. And I feel like when you talk about people also, and you say, oh, some of your old friends, might say you've changed. I haven't changed. Like I've just kind of like grown into the role that I've always meant to be in, and I feel like they've stayed the same. And I feel like
a lot of the time that's a reflection of them just looking at you and being insecure with kind of them maybe not approaching the same kind of growth mindset to life.
Exactly. And I feel like the other thing is respecting your partner's vision as well. Like, I might have an idea, Chris might have an idea. We've got to respect each other's visions. Otherwise, it's not going to work either. And it's also becoming okay with a different vision as well. Like I've grown to love Chris's visions and things, and vice versa. So it's, being able to work that way as well.
And you guys have used the word vision a lot, which is great, because one kind of trait that I've found with people, especially with people that kind of go from a 7 to 8 to kind of 9-figure businesses, is vision.
Yeah.
It's like, if the vision isn't fucking clear, if it isn't aligned, if it isn't razor sharp, you're not going to hit these lofty goals. Like, what do you guys do? Because like everyone's different, right? So like obviously, you've got a certain vision, how do you guys kind of bring that together? Is there a process? Do you guys sit down like once a quarter? Do you review it? Do you just kind of,
I think sometimes we have these, I guess, close-knit meetings, catch-ups with a few key people.
Mm-hmm.
But that's just on the back of us being away, thinking, writing down our thoughts.
So when you have time and space.
And we come back like, hey, this, and this. And then that convo leads to X, Y, and Z. And then we've got all these new visions and ideas. And
so would you say on that point that, and so when you say you're going away, is this like on a holiday, a family,
no, just
a
might even
weekend
be the
away?
weekend. Like
Okay.
How often do we chat after a weekend?
Yeah, I feel like once you grow to a scale, like or any business, you grow to a scale level, you actually have like a responsibility to your staff and team members to spend time with them. I guess like, yes, you might have executives or higher ranking people, managers, etc. in your organization, but then like you're the person that they all crave the attention and time from. And I feel like what we've done really well in the business is we spend time with our departments and teams and empower them with the knowledge and vision or strategies that we want with them, not always barking at them, nothing like that. It's like a team effort or team kind of plan. Yeah. And I feel like that takes time during the week. And I even said to Nathan sometimes, like, my best work gets done on the weekends when I'm at home working by myself, and I work on my, on the business, not in the business.
Yeah.
And you need those times away from working in the business, I guess making those campaigns, the money, the products, the design, all these things happen during the week, but that on the business and the vision actually happens away from the office and that, because I feel like sometimes
meetings.
You sit there and you look at what's going on around me. And I feel like it's like market awareness. You start being very aware of what's happening in the market. And one thing that I think from startups that we did back in the day, what's the one thing that we did back in the day when we first started up? We look at the bigger brands. Oh wow, one day it might be cool to be like that, but you get motivated, inspired by them. And think about the startup stage. You never look at who's next to you starting up or who's below you. No. And I feel like as you go on the journey in business,
non-hierarchical.
Yeah, you go on the journey of business. Even us now, where we are now, again, same mentality. Like, and for anyone starting a business or on their journey, don't worry about who's next to you in your market. You got to be aware, of course. I understand that. That's important. People that are coming into the market, maybe getting some market share with some new products they're releasing, maybe some good traction at the start. But those, of course, like the ones near you in your direct competitors, be aware of it, but always focus on who's miles ahead of you.
Who are you serving to?
Miles ahead of you. And I feel like that's what a lot of people forget when they're in their space. They look beside them and below themselves.
Well, you can't get a big fucking badass vision if you're just focusing on the
noise. Yeah.
You kind of need to look at those ones out there that at the time it's like, holy shit. Holy shit.
But I also think it's hard from our point of view because no one has done what we've done. I'm not saying like from a revenue point of view, but from like a
innovation, 100%.
Innovation point of view.
And it was like, let's say with activewear, I remember like there was what gave us a boom and push into the industry back in the day was, I would say, you might have your opinion, but I think it was literally, remember the expo that we were designing up, and then we got the price for the booth, and I said, we can't afford this. And then you said, no, we've got to make it happen. And like I was like, we can't afford this. It's too much money for too soon for what we're going to do, for the return, money-wise. And Nathan said, no, we've got to do this. And I was like, oh, fuck. So we just kind of just scrambled all pennies and dollars together, went to this expo, and back in the day, like, you sit there with brands around you, like, probably should mention who's around. Does it matter about mentioning brands?
No.
It wasn't nothing against them. They were just the people that were in industry and leading back then. And that was, Riderwear. It was Do You Even was coming up. There was Strong Liftwear. Strong Liftwear with Lauren Simpson, Zach Perner, Callum, all the back.
But it's the same in my sector. 2017, 2016, 2018, it was brands like the Australian Institute of Fitness or Australian Institute of Personal Trainers, like the more, institutionalized legacy brands. But I think like even some of those brands that you mentioned now, like obviously great brands, but from a third party observation, they haven't maybe pivoted and evolved in those 3 or 4 year cycles that we were talking about earlier.
But it's like, we've come into the expo and these brands you look up to, wow, look at these brands. And we came in, remember Nathan, with our music, blaring, free t-shirts, full branding exercise.
And we had a line through the expo that was like a kilometre long. Everyone was like,
but the thing is, the whole expo, they knew muscle. The goal was, we know Muscle Nation now. And we had these brands next to us go, who the hell are these guys, punks?
These group
They've come
dudes?
out of nowhere. They've put this booth up.
Yeah.
The lines are there. The music is there. The stage was there. The athletes were there. Our team members. And that's another thing. We had the right people at the right stage of the business. Really good people at the start. The first couple of years.
Yep.
And they were, pivotal for us. And we really loved working with them. They were probably our OG people. And everyone's moved on. Apart, I think from Hattie's still around. Hattie's doing her thing. She's amazing. I think
to that point though, like sometimes, and I look at even with my business, some of those founding members of the business, only one of them remained as of the beginning of the year. Because business evolves, times change and stuff like that. I think, sometimes, and you guys obviously have a similar mindset to me, it's like sometimes people will come into your life in business and team members and whatnot, and they're there for that season, for that 3, 4, 5 year block, and you go all in or whatever, then they go. And my mindset's always been like, you know what? Like, I'm never going to hold anybody back from going and doing their own thing. And, sometimes they end up coming back.
And very grateful for Hattie to be leading the team. But like you said, people have gone on their own journeys. But yeah, I guess the OG team, very grateful for that period of time. And I think from us, that expo was an important part of our kind of like his muscle nation to the fitness world.
And for the following 4 expos or 5 expos, they just got bigger and bigger and bigger. And the expos became like this marketing juggernaut for us.
Now it's a bit different with what marketing strategies you've got to utilize now in 2024 that's going to get you traction and momentum as a business versus what was the right move in 2016.
Well, let's talk about that quickly because you open up that can of worms. What are your thoughts on kind of where marketing's at in 2024 compared to 2023?
24, it's tough. It's like the meta world. It's Google. It's influencer marketing, so expensive. Cost of any type of marketing for any business is like can make you or break you if you make the wrong decision. It's like a money pit. So
you're finding it's a lot more
organic has reduced.
I was going to say So you're finding it's a lot more pay to play.
Yeah, a lot more pay to play.
So margins are not like they used to be.
Yeah, algorithms are not what they used to be.
The iOS changes, the privacy policies,
email deliverables aren't what they used to be. Like the whole thing.
That's why back in the day, even though we thought there was like such a competition for us out there when we kind of first came into the industry, it's nothing to like what it is now. And that's why for me, like it's hard to pinpoint that one. It's probably a whole podcast on its own to talk about like, what are some things that are key to kind of utilize in 2024 because it feels like even now with the economy, it's honestly like this hill is getting steeper and steeper and harder. And respected brands and brands that have been there with trust and loyalty in the space are the ones that kind of like have to just weather the storm to get like that second wind when times get better. But in saying that, like what you said before, Daine, about that pivot, even in one space, it's like I said the example yesterday. Remember the coffee example? Okay, so right now, I said Nathan, what's in my team? What's the first thing if you guys were trying to like tighten up your wallets a little bit, save some money? What's the first thing that goes? And everyone goes, or coffee, getting my coffee or, from a coffee shop.
Yeah.
And I said, okay, opportunity. So you're buying instant. So even though coffee as a category has gone down, you're still going to buy your coffee and make your instant. So the instant, Nescafe or Moccona
you're just not going to buy it from a brick and mortar business.
Exactly.
You're going to buy it from an e-commerce
You're
business.
You're going to find where the best savings are to get your coffee fix. And I feel like with health and fitness, it's a very similar kind of like, industry right now where like people want to buy activewear or buy their supplements or they want to buy their protein snacks. Okay, like what's the better choice to make? And I think as an informed consumer, the better choice is probably the trusted brands or the specials or the sales period. So you've got to pivot, not just like with products and what you're doing as a business, but also what your offering is. And I feel like that pivot in a business, week to week, month to month, and also away from big launches and big product innovations, you've got to be able to pivot in the space as well.
And I think you can't just have a good marketing strategy these days. You've got to have a good product, and it's got to be a unique product. Like you look at some of these products that have boomed lately, the Stanley Cups and they're unique and they're different. Anyone can literally go on, the website, on the internet and buy a pair of leggings and try and sell it. But how are you different to the next person to you? Like
the example that I would use about that is like when you buy designer, you buy Louis Vuitton or a Dior or whatever, you don't buy it because it's an amazing bag. You buy it because of the brand. And I feel like this day and age in the
Still
era,
good quality
Well, you know what it
it's
is?
a good quality product.
You
correct.
you attach the brand to an emotion,
Yes.
right? So that emotion could be like, oh, it feels premium, feels luxury, or a thought process, something like that.
Yeah.
You know, so I think like brand trust triggers emotions in people. Like, what are you guys doing? What do you guys say doing differently now at this scale and stage of your business? You know, you've obviously, you know, I can go into a local Coles, or you guys are there, or I can go into Rebel Sport the other day with my eldest, and there's some MN gear there and stuff like that, you know, and obviously I'm kitted out in it, right? So like, what have you guys done to continue to build on the brand trust that you guys have built up over the last 7 years in today's space?
I think it's quality of products, but also the customer experience. So
Yeah, okay.
we put a lot of, and we have from day one, a lot of emphasis on customer service.
Mhm.
We will reply to everyone, every comment, every DM, but it won't just be like an automated reply. It'll be a conversational reply. It'll be an in-depth reply. You know, essentially we're having a casual chat with you. Like, it's not just this
It's
robotic.
not a chatbot.
No, but it's also more than just a little reply. Like, we really want to give our customers the best experience and to make them feel like they're part of something more than just buying a piece of activewear or some supplements.
Yeah, it's also
And
like
that's what we've done really well from the
experience.
start.
If there's an issue or return, make it as easy as possible. And it's that experience across, be it the website, the customer service, the marketing, just the brand has, even our expansion into other categories. There's also been expansion within our business where, for example, our activewear, it's like we're very welcoming to, double extra smalls to 3, 4 XLs in sports bras, in leggings, in bottoms, and etc. And I feel like being that brand that kind of ticks a lot of boxes instead of being a niche brand about just one type of customer has led us to welcome a lot of customers into our brand. And, I feel like just being welcoming, the quality of the products is also important. And I think that what we changed from back in the day, Nathan, is just our reinvestment into the business, be it from quality control to even our products. Like, I know a lot of brands say, in the supplement world, oh, you guys have sold out to go to Coles or go to mainstream FMCG. But what the consumer sees in that is trust. The one thing that I noticed being in supplements, and we've seen, is that the third-party testing and the originalness in that space to be in the space we're in is such high level versus having Joe Blow release a pre-workout or a protein and drop out his mate's supplement shop and sell it in there with no control in QC or FSANs or anything like that. Where I feel like it's just very cowboyish a little bit.
Yeah.
And I feel like, being able
the sup industry is known for that, right? To a certain extent.
it's like you see brands out there,
Especially in the States.
that's how it is over there. And you see a lot of legal things happening overseas, which kind of hasn't happened in Australia. But I don't think we're too far off from, being a bit more controlled with regulated as well. Yeah, I agree.
So what made you, on that point, because obviously you guys started in apparel, right? As we've spoken about, there aren't too many, if any, businesses doing it at the scale that you guys are doing it with both apparel and sups. What made you guys say, you know what, let's just start doing some fucking supplements?
We always spoke about it, but you're always very passionate about stuff.
Yeah, like we spoke about before, I came from a supplement business and company, a startup. I was very grateful to have that platform to learn, develop, but
Learn
also
skills.
offer a lot of my knowledge. And I feel like it came at the right time where I was in supplements and the change to activewear was fresh for me, something new. But I kind of had a feeling a couple of years in where it's just something that you enjoy doing. I love training. Like you mentioned to me earlier, Daine, that, in your life, the one thing that stayed constant that you always enjoyed is training. And I'm the same, and Nathan's the same. And I feel like even though we've grown older, we've had children, we've matured as businessmen, as men in general, but training has always been one thing that I've always done.
It's the anchor point.
It's the anchor point.
When I haven't done it, it leads to fucking collapse of life.
It's not for a goal anymore. It's just what you do. And
mental health.
And I do feel like,
how do you feel when you wake up? Literally, that's the barometer of success for me
that's
these
the
days.
attachment. And I feel like, supplements for me and even protein snacks is a big part of my life. Like, not that I take a lot of supplements, but key supplements were part of my life. And that's when, we came together with Nathan and we said, let's pivot a little bit. Let's just try this out. And Nathan, said, oh, okay. I thought he'd have more questions, but honestly, we came together and he goes, let's do it.
I think also
How many years in was that when you got
2?
I think just after 2.
Yeah.
2.5 maybe.
We also were aware that there wasn't any really fun supplement brands in Australia. It was all your very hardcore bodybuilding.
A lot of
We
import.
brought fun
American
to
import.
the labels and fun to the look. Now everyone's doing it. Like, you know, like we'll touch on that in a minute, but I think we kind of led that way here in Australia with, you know, kind of the non-boring hardcore branding.
It's also like a lot of supplements like came from America, and I think
Well, back then a lot of it was distributions, right?
Yeah.
Distribution of
Yeah.
American brands, and there was very like, you know, a few local players. Obviously, there's more local players now, not at your guys' scale, but it is more.
I love that.
Yeah,
I love
100%.
seeing Australian brands in Australian shops, and I think like we said before about you know, if the owners are good people, they're going to make sure their supplements are top notch. And I think in this industry right now in Australia, we're in a good space where there's more Australian products on shelf than overseas products, which for me, it's about Australia. Like we're Australian. We want to see Australian companies succeed and do well. And for us starting back then, there wasn't many Australian companies being distributed in supplement shops.
Yeah.
And, you know, I think that's where we saw an opportunity to come in as Muscle Nation. There was a few products on the shelf that were doing what they're doing. And, you know, I feel like
I remember, sorry, cut you off. I remember the day we launched our subs and we already had a big community then buying at activewear, and we got, I think, all our community go and comment on the post, what sup store you want out to see our supplements at. And it was just like, I don't know how many thousands of comments.
thousands of comments.
And then we're like, wow, we got to get a wholesale manager on. We got to do something here.
It was me. Like, I feel like, you know, we went in the deep end and I became the wholesale manager and like, and you kind of like, as a young, you know, businessman, you kind of, you wear all these hats.
I've been partnerships manager.
Yeah, the whole
Oh
thing.
my God,
CMO, you know.
Yep, it just went crazy straight away.
But it was nice to see, like, it's the confidence that our customers and community gave us that, you know what, if you guys do it, we got you.
Let me ask you guys something, because I always say in business, I make decisions based on two things: data, intuition. Right? So it's like it needs to make commercial sense, but if it doesn't feel right, I don't fucking do it.
Yeah.
Kind of like why we're sitting here together, right? For you guys, when you looked at SUPs, I mean, it sounds like here it was probably maybe 60% passion, 70% passion.
I don't think we looked at any data.
Yeah,
I see it was 100% passion.
yeah.
There was no data.
Yeah.
We didn't.
because you didn't have any.
Well, we didn't care. It was just like, let's give it a shot. Who cares?
But see, it's like, it's a
Had nothing
space.
to lose. Yeah.
If it's challenging.
A little bit.
Yeah.
Not much.
Yeah.
But the thing is, like, it was a challenge. Like, within the business, it's like, you know, for an example, in the gym, you just start playing your own mind games. Like, 2 more reps, 2 more, one more rep, come on, rest, pause, let's go again. Like, you kind of self-talk yourself into, like, pushing yourself harder. And I feel like that's how I'm in business. I feel like when you get a little bit, not complacent, but you feel comfortable, you try and push yourself harder and give yourself the next challenge or the next goal. And I think that's what happened with supplements. Like, we got good traction, good momentum. Australian sales were doing so well. 2.5 years in, probably became X $1 million company straight away. Started changing warehouses back to back until we got here eventually. And then it was one of those things that, like, the supplements came and, like, got traction, done its thing, kept pushing, expanded SKUs. Like, it just became its own
Well,
business.
just and actually, this is, you know, I know you guys are modest guys, but I'm going to be non-modest for you. So, like, in terms of like square meters of this site, because I want the listeners to actually understand how big your guys' site is and stuff like that. Like, what's the square meters of this site right now? Which I know you guys
This
obviously
site
own.
is about 5,000 square meters.
Yeah, and you guys own this building?
We own this building.
Yep.
We
Bought the land.
we bought the land in 2021, I think. I don't know. I can't remember. 2020 maybe. For
Good timing.
not sure how much we paid for, about $2 million.
Yep.
And we built this ourselves, and it's worth a lot of money now. This building.
I can tell. and so this is, but you also mentioned that it's gotten to the point with your apparel and stuff like that, that
Yes.
you're looking at moving all of the SUPs out of here to Melbourne.
Not all the stuff. So for context, when we built this building, it was purely for online. We didn't even have grocer, or we had the wholesale
No
side.
grocer, chemist, or
So it's more B2C, not B2B.
There's no survey.
B2C,
Yeah.
but also B2B in terms of your mum and pop sup stores, which is not huge, right?
Okay.
We then unfortunately got grocer at the time when we were moving in here.
Yeah.
So we had to kind of like reshuffle all our plans, hold grocer stock here, which we only hold a small portion of now because we can't fit it. But with the growth of that, we just don't have the space here. So that's all going off-site to another facility in Melbourne. And we're going to purely use here for online and wholesale supplement stores.
Okay.
So again, that's another challenge that we're facing. And everyone, and you asked me as well, are you going to build another site? Too stressful to build. Too long, too stressful.
Yeah.
No, thank you.
Yeah.
I'd rather just get like another site somewhere else. And
Do you guys, and I know I do you guys still kind of pinch yourself when you think about where things are at?
honestly, I don't really. I get super excited when I see anyone wearing our stuff or buying our supplements. But I don't know if I just sit there and pinch myself. I don't think we really sit down and think about it too much.
I'm very grateful.
you?
Yeah, I'm very grateful to be where we are, and I think that's the pressure we put on ourselves.
Yeah.
trying to keep
Just
going.
hearing it, like, guys, like, fuck, 2016 Bunnings, 2021, 5,000 square meter site. Like,
We went
it's fucking
from
awesome.
we went from
I love it.
garage to 200 square meter warehouse to a 400 square meter warehouse to a 1,500 square meter warehouse to a 5,000 square meter warehouse.
Yeah.
And now we can't fit in the 5,000 square meter
I
warehouse.
think my not pinch myself moment, just a moment I had a couple of days ago. I had to move my car downstairs. I was blocking someone in, and I went downstairs and I looked outside on the road because the right side is where some of our gross supplements are, the powders, and because we've got two entries, the warehouse for online and then gross on this side. And I sat there and there was literally saying there was 5 semi-trailers, long ones, banked up here, being loaded with pallets. And I sat there going, oh, probably like 30, 40 plus pallets per trailer. And then I just saw these pallets of Muscle Nation being loaded up. And that's, sometimes you don't see it. It's not a physical thing.
No.
You don't see it to understand the scale of Muscle Nation because we're so distracted and so focused working on the business that, you know, if I went to Melbourne to our grocer and bar and whatever facility we have over there, it's probably like 10 times the size of this. You know, it's like we probably ship out 400 to 500 pallets a month to suppliers, you know, in what we're doing. Just seeing, you know, those like about 400 to 500 pallets a month rolling out and seeing those trucks outside kind of gave me a moment to like just put it into perspective.
You know what I call it? I tell people talk about being present in the moment, right? As a concept, like sometimes just stop and smell the roses. For me, I have a concept called activating presence, right? And so presence is when you're so in the fucking moment that like you are literally just fucking enjoying life for what it is then and there.
So hard to do that.
And it is. But I've learned that as, you know, dad of 7, I've had wins, I've had losses, that if I don't activate once, you know, a few times a day, what the fuck am I doing it for?
Yeah.
Like, and it's the biggest challenge. It's like, we're all hungry motherfuckers, right? You know, we're all going out there for impact, mission, and scale. It's like sometimes it's like, fuck, I love having chats with guys like you because like no one else is going to tell you, but fucking good on you guys for doing what you've done. Because sometimes I know people don't fucking tell me that enough.
Yeah.
So it's good when you get it from someone else, like fucking kill it, guys. It's
Yeah.
awesome.
It's like, you know, it kind of comes back to, do you celebrate your wins?
Yeah,
And
pretty much.
we actually don't. And it's because like you might have got a win, but during that win period, you're already working on something else that's popped up.
Yeah.
You know, and you got to go back to work. It's like, you know, it's very hard to stop and slow down because we wouldn't be where we are.
Yeah.
It's a double-edged sword.
It's 8 years. Coming to 8 years now, 8 years since the start, and we've done what we've done, pushing to be, you know, 100 mil plus company, you know, coming up really soon. It just doesn't happen if you don't stop. And I feel like, you know, that's the focus that we've both had. And I know being a businessman and you have a lot of opportunities come on your plate and you can make money here and there and etc. But I think the one thing that we've always been really like aligned with is our focus for Muscle Nation. You know, there could be opportunities to make some side money here or a side business or a collaboration. And it's like we've learned to say no to mostly everything unless that opportunity excites us. And if that opportunity excites us, we know that, okay, it's exciting because A, B, C, D, F, G, and that could be a vision, you know, that's going to play into our vision for the long-term goal.
Yeah.
So I guess for us, you know, staying focused and really kind of like, you know, into our lane is important to be where we are. But like you said, we just don't celebrate wins, which we should. I smell the roses, like you said.
Yeah.
But, you know, maybe this podcast is helping us, like, you know, just sit here and listen to you. And like, you know, I'm getting goosebumps here and there because I just haven't been in this position before to like just stop and listen and just like talk about what we've done because this is very rare for us.
Yeah, it's cool.
Yeah.
I like it.
I tell people in my community, I'm a fucking activator. I activate people, you know.
You activated us.
If I'm helping to activate you guys in some way to just kind of look at things a bit differently, then I'm grateful. But like, what would you say actually on that topic of collaborations, right? Obviously, you know, we've partnered up together for Clean Health Live. Super grateful to have you guys come on. Like, you know, like you guys, we get approached with collaborations and that all the time. I'm interested to like, what do you guys look at for collaborations? Because sometimes there are monetary collaborations, sometimes they're like value collaborations. There's sharing of database. Like, what do you guys look at, you know, when you're collaborating with different brands or individuals? Like, what makes you do it and what makes you not do it?
I think it needs to be exciting for us.
Yeah.
But it also needs to be with good people, the right people. I think from when you reached out, it was like, okay, you already aligned with some of our key people, so it automatically ticked a box there. And then it was more so just, you know, going from there and like seeing if we could make it work. Like that.
But after our first conversation with
Yeah,
Daine,
yeah,
like,
we had a chat. We were on the same
we
channel.
knew well, the one thing that I liked, it was just easy. It was so easy. It wasn't complicated. And I feel like a lot of people in business these days, they make things so much more complicated than what it should be. And
His principle, they don't fucking...
No joke.
it's that, but also a lot of people try and justify how much work they do by running in circles. And they're like, to achieve nothing. You know, it's like, and I feel like, you know, we caught up with you and it just kind of made sense to kind of just do what we're doing together. And it felt very like mutual and chilled. And, you know, excited to be with you guys for the Clean Health event.
Because I think even just hearing this and then jump into it, it's like sometimes it's the brands and the partnerships that you say no to that define you just as much as the ones that you say yes to.
And I guess that's the power you have when you're confident with your brand. And, you know, we're looking at the sales data just then. We get screenshots and whatever, what's going on, top 25, top 20. And to have like the top 2 protein bars out of 3 in Coles, like sales, volumes, like it's awesome. And the thing is, like, we know that any brand that we collaborate with, they're getting that spot over the current spot that we have. So therefore, like, you know, we didn't want to forgive us marketing Muscle Nation for our product rather than sacrificing half of it or whatever to another brand being on our product. And I feel like that only happens also over time when you can make those decisions and say no because, okay, you are a good brand, they're a big brand, but, you know, you're not a startup. You don't need them to make this product, you know, a category or an opportunity. And I feel like, you know, like you said, Daine, like the more no's that you say kind of helps define you more than your yeses. And I'm glad.
I always look at, I agree with what you said about ease, because a lot of time, you know, people try and overcomplicate the process, right? And I think those that don't are generally people that are, to be honest, really fucking good at what they do. And, you know, probably don't suffer fools, right? But then the third thing is like, it needs to kind of fit in with what you're doing. And I always say that for me, for partnerships, like, is there a brand alignment? Like, yes. Is there, does our consumer and their consumer, are they aligned with their kind of, you know, what they're passionate about, you know, like obviously with us they are. And then I think the third thing is like, how does the community respond to it as well? Because ultimately, like, you're here to serve your community, we're here to serve our community. When I kind of spoke to some of our internal team members, like Maria, who's with you guys as an MN athlete and stuff like that, like she was like, oh my God, it's like my favorite 2 brands ever and stuff like that. So just kind of seeing that feedback, it's like, oh fuck, awesome. Like it's a no-brainer.
And see the value, I feel like us coming to the event and the value we can bring to your people, and we're not just an activewear company. We're doing the shirts for you guys that look really cool and they're coming together. The green on it looks awesome.
I love it.
And it's like, okay, we bring the drinks, we bring the protein puffs, the savory, we bring the bars, the crisp bars, like a few things that we've highlighted to bring to you. And it's like, okay, the value of Muscle Nation is just not a garment or a 100%. Drink or a bar, it's the experience. And I think, you know, that's why I feel like we are where we are, because we're giving our customer and our community probably the experience and also the products across different categories that they are using and wanting. And again, the quality always that we look at.
And innovating in those products.
Yeah, innovating as well.
So like with the whole experience piece and some of the stuff you guys spoke about, one of the things that stood out to me from that is like that concept of delayed gratification. Because like, you know, when you spend more of your payroll costs on having humans answer DMs and stuff like that obviously encroaches into your margins, but like you're sacrificing profits for the experience of your customers. A lot of business owners won't do that.
Yeah, and
they're not prepared to.
I'll tell you one thing. When we went into the grocer game, we, you know, probably a mistake on our part. We rushed into it. We got excited. We were like, you know what, let's go into it. We'll think about everything else later.
Mm.
And we probably learned a few financial lessons with that.
Yep.
We were very fortunate enough that we had a massive online business to help sustain the growth of a grocer business.
That's a good point. So
If we didn't have the online business, the grocer business would have died. There was no way in hell that we could have sustained
Which was
it.
built off,
The online
content,
business.
brand, trust.
But
When you start playing
in that volume space,
that world with volume and payment terms and payment cycles and holding.
Well, that was the
large
first,
amounts of
when
inventory.
I was down there and I was looking, I'm like, fuck, like the working capital, the cash flow, like it's people, oh wow, they've got this massive business
They
and
have no
doing that,
idea.
but it's like, I'm like, are you realizing the juggling that goes on for something like that? Like there's a lot.
Imagine us, like, when people go, oh, how'd you get into grocer? Like, that's a big step going from supplement shops to the grocer system. It's very hard to get into that space and do well and stay there.
100%, yeah.
But the thing is, we weren't experts. Like, you and I weren't experts. We got an opportunity. We, maybe made a few mistakes during ranging and whatever in negotiations, but they've well fixed them since then. And I feel like the one thing with us is, like, we're not scared to get in there and learn the game, to be really ahead of time and, go head first into a new challenge. And the one thing with Grocer and our first year in Coles, which was exciting for us, we got the ranging and we won product launch of the year for the Coles group, not just like Coles supermarkets, the whole group.
Yeah.
So Coles Group's awards, we went up against a few big brands, not just sports and diet, like Bigger Cheese. So Coles Group meaning every aisle, every product. Which product won the product launch of the year award for Coles Group? And it was Muscle Nation custard protein bars. And that was amazing because we came into an aisle as, with no track record, probably shouldn't have been there. We got given a chance.
Up against the legacy brands, well done.
All the legacy brands and all the home, the staple home brands. And we went in there and it was along the lines that these brands' sales didn't suffer. Us coming in, we didn't take sales away from brands. They were growing like they usually do.
Incremental
But we
sales.
led the category in sales because we brought a different consumer into Coles to purchase these products that weren't buying from there before. And I feel like to go from like 7 to 10 to 13, 14, 15 to 20 to 30 to 40 something now to 15 more ranging in May.
Nearly 60 SKUs, yeah.
60 plus SKUs in sports and diet, for Muscle Nation. In this short period of time, if you told any other business that's already been there for a long time, they'll be like, they would not understand how we've done it in such a short period of time. And I feel like they'll be like, oh, they've sold part of their company to get investment, but we haven't.
Yeah.
It's like we've been very kind of like diligent with what we're doing with our money, where we're investing it. Nathan's very good with the financials. The online business, like you mentioned, has helped support and fund that project and back and forth together. So
I don't think we anticipated the growth. I think we if we stayed at 4 SKUs, we would be chilling.
yeah,
Probably have a lot of money sitting in the bank account, whatever.
Yeah.
But our vision is always to just grow.
then once
and that growth and the quickness of the growth,
but you get
it caught up real quick.
and you get addicted to the growth.
You do.
Coles comes to say, hey guys, you're doing so well. Do you want 3 new SKUs somewhere? What? It's up to you now. Before, we had to get approved what kind of product, sell the product, market, how much marketing support we'll give to the products launching into XYZ.
We didn't even look at the financials. We got so excited, like, yep, we'll make those new products happen.
Yeah, they're like,
And then
we've got 3 SKUs coming up in 3 months. Do you guys want it? Yep, done. And then we realized, oh, okay, now we've got to go now. R&D, make the product, make the packaging. There's packaging delay, timelines. Okay, we're not going to meet that. We're going to fly the packaging in now.
Investing in all those hogs. And like just,
But then what happened was like we were getting opportunities on the run, and we kept saying yes and yes and yes, and then you realize, holy shit, okay, we've got to like
You know what it
stabilize.
comes back to though? Vision.
yeah.
You guys have a fucking vision, and it's just like the data might not make sense at the time, but I think when you got that fucking belief that it's just going to happen.
Yeah.
But I think now, like what we said before about the decision 2 years ago to go to Grocer, and it was 100% passion and the supplements and that.
Yeah.
Now it's data is a big thing.
Yeah,
It's very now. It's
with
very
where you're
calculated.
playing at now. 100%.
It's probably 90% data to make sure you make sense.
If
from
it doesn't make financial sense now, we don't even look at it.
Oh, actually, no. I get excited about products too.
You do, but like we still run it past our.
It was like the CRISPR. The CRISPR wasn't ranged anywhere. We didn't pitch it. Nothing happened. So Nathan, I love LCMs. I'm making this LCM protein bar that I want to make with inclusions. Okay, we're putting a PO in. I don't care. We're going to have 400,000 units. It's going to tie up probably over $500,000 in cash flow. I said, I want this product. I really want it. And, we made it. We got it done. No ranging confirmed anywhere. Product came out. I was confident. Pitched, went there. Went to Chemist Warehouse, going to Coles, going nationally, etc. In the space of having confidence in that product that I was passionate about. But also,
could be an element of risk as well.
Yeah.
100%.
But that's one product I was really passionate about, and that's come out really well.
But I think even with that product, we would still make sure it made financial sense if it was going to go into ranging.
Correct. Yeah. So that's.
I think
that's
you
where
ebb
it comes
and,
in.
yeah, I think you ebb and flow. Like I've gone through periods when it's just been like all fucking passion to make the decision, but then obviously there's times as you get to those like economies of scale where the non-founder, non-creator brain kind of needs to
hang on a minute,
settle down, boy, settle down. Have your magnesium,
That's
have your mag,
Sleep on it, and tomorrow morning make the final decision.
Yeah.
But that's I think for us, I think any element, any product, there's been a lot of excitement, and if it's exciting, we'll make it work. Commercially, we'll make it work.
Yeah. Well, guys, look, there's one question I want to ask both of you guys before we finish, and you kind of touched base on it. It's a pretty cliche question, but like for you, like if you could give one piece of advice to any kind of entrepreneur or anyone out there watching right now, like what would it be?
That's a tough question, Now, these days, if you asked me like 5 years ago, I would have said something different. I feel like it would be two things. Be around the right people.
Yeah.
So, Chris, but also other key people in the business.
Yep.
Because you don't know everything.
Yep.
There's other people that know more than you.
Yep.
And that can add their value.
And that's probably a viewpoint you might not have had 5-10 years ago.
No.
Yeah.
Oh, I just thought we knew everything.
Yeah.
have a good quality product and a good offering.
Yep.
That the market needs, and also probably the biggest one for us is focus on creating a community. The community has allowed us to release products anywhere and everywhere, and that community to back it.
It's like, to touch on that, it's like sometimes in periods of time in the Meta, Google, and ad spend is so high for your return, and you've got a full budget. What do you rely on? Your emails, your SMS, your community, your app
loyals.
people, your loyals, and it's like,
you guys definitely rely on your SMS. I get fucking a lot of those things.
Don't unsubscribe.
No, I haven't. I'm like, I'm going to, hey guys, take this and use it in that way.
But you can never also take advantage of your loyals, because, it's, for an example, we'll do early exclusive releases on the app. We'll do some SMS stuff to SMS people away from just normal. And I feel like it's important to always understand, look after the people that have been there for you. And I understand consumer behavior. Like, I feel like also back in the day, people love being part of startup brands, a movement, a momentum. And as you grow and get older,
100%.
you start losing people, jumping to other brands and that. But the thing is, if you're always there and you're trusted, and you make a new protein bar or a new drink or a new piece of activewear that they like in colours, they'll always come back, because it's like a relationship. You don't break up on bad terms. They might have gone and kind of just browse around a little bit somewhere else, but they can always come back to Muscle Nation, and because they can rely and trust them. And I feel like that's consumer behavior, where loyalty back in the day with startup brands was there, and you had your loyals that were like really into the brand and never jumped. But as you kind of become, that bigger company, and there's new startups, they like to join another movement and momentum, and it's consumer behavior. And I feel like, but if you do the right thing through customer service, your marketing, your products, your offering, your feeling as a brand, those people, they might go somewhere else, but they'll always kind of explore Muscle Nation when they want to as well. So,
and that's on the back of innovating.
Innovating, and being, a good company. I think my one thing, away from what you said, is I'd probably go back to my younger self, and I literally become an entrepreneur in another business. I just became a monster. I wanted to be really good at what I did. Remember, I bought that Mac for $10,000 when I had no money, and put on a payment plan because I really want to learn video editing and Photoshop and etc. And I was working in a business, a startup.
Self-development.
And it was my self-development that I was really so into. I didn't care about how much money I was making. I didn't care about holidays. Didn't care about nothing. I really became so focused.
Delayed gratification.
Just so into my work and my craft. And I feel like you go through any a labouring job, and you do your apprenticeship, and you've got to earn your stripes in any kind of thing.
I think some people a lot these days want to try and skip that step.
They want to skip it.
And there is opportunities there where you can skip, and with a lot of things happening online at the moment, but I feel like It's
Nothing beats hard
it's
work.
like they say, sometimes when you invest your money, where do you go in the end? It's property. It might be high, it might be low, it's always there, it's always going to get better, it's a safe bet most of the time. And I feel like that's also with your own personal development and self-development is like just become really good at what you do, be focused on your own personal development, don't worry about making $1. And I feel
100%.
like, and put yourself in a space like I did back in the day, so I'm really grateful for that opportunity to be able to sharpen your tools, apply your tools, learn from people like Nathan said around you that are better than you. And I feel like over time, when you feel that you're ready to go on your own, which I felt was my right time. And that's why the start of Muscle Nation in 2016 came with Nathan and I, because we were both ready. It's not by fluke. And I say this always, like, we're not here where we are because of fluke. I knew we were going to do something special. The level, I wasn't sure. I knew we were going to go for the reach for the stars, and wherever we fell, we would fell. But I knew that from our background and our investment in our own selves, away from, Nathan was successful on social media, away from me, I was in social media marketing in a business. We came together and just brought our strengths and what we developed over time to take Muscle Nation from a nobody to what it is in 2024.
It's funny you say that. It's like I remember having conversations like, oh, we can get to $2,000 a day. That's the goal. And it's like that was like all we that was all we cared about. Like that was gonna make us so happy. And it's like shit.
You know what made us
next.
You know what made us more happy? It wasn't reaching $2,000 a day back in the day. It's seeing 100 people on our website and our website crashing.
Yeah.
For us to see 100 people experience our website meant more for us than seeing the bank account making sales. We've got 100 people on the site from a little launch. How cool is this? And we're on WordPress and the site crashed. Oh, our site crashed because we had mega traffic and it was 100 people. But see, that excitement for the business and what we're doing was like our craft.
Yeah.
And I feel like the whole journey from the start to where we are now and to where we're going, it's that always want to be better, and I think that's what everyone kind of needs to achieve within themselves, be it their fitness goals, their business goals, the family, the personal. Just be better, try and be better, be a good person, and you'll go far in life.
Entrepreneurial mindset, it crosses over to every aspect of life, right?
Yeah.
Yep.
Well, look, gents, I want to thank you very much. I think there's a lot of gems there for
hope so.
for the audience and that. But one thing for those that are living under a rock, where can they find you, brother? On social?
Me?
Yeah,
Where I live?
you. No, not your house. Where can we find more about it? I think we all know where to find Muscle Nation, online, but Instagram, where can people find you on Instagram?
I don't really use my Instagram more than posting pictures of my son, really. But at Nathaniel Anthony,
Yeah.
they really want to follow my journey.
Yeah.
I'm on Instagram, but I'm not active, and I feel like I used to love content.
Yeah.
But like I said to Nathan the other week, I didn't post for 2-3 years because I was logged into Muscle Nation. That became my brand. So if you want to follow me, follow Muscle Nation. That's my craft.
There you go. I love that response. Follow the brand. Well, thank you very much for that, Jen. I appreciate the hospitality and look forward to doing more stuff together.
Thank you, Daine.
All right.
Thanks, Dane.
Awesome.
Thanks for having
There you
us.
go.